nicely, though, Jeremy.
Alan, I can't believe you actually said that right before we went on air that you called me an extrovert. I take that thing to heart. And yes, I identify
I
as
really
one.
kind of implied that you were being obnoxious.
And I am obnoxious. Thank you again, Alan, for letting us all know that we do that. Once again, everybody, we're back. You're driving. I've been watching the stats. I tell you what, I love that we're getting listens. I just had another person reach out to me saying, love what you guys are doing. Keep it up. You know, you're one of the few podcasts I look forward to listening to. I was like, hey, tell your friends, tell like 1,000 more, will you? Come
Isn't that
on.
cool though that there's somebody out there and they get excited when they see it drop?
They did. Well,
That makes
I don't
my
know if he
day.
said that, but he
That's
definitely
what I
at one
heard.
of the golf events. Yeah, he came up to me and says, "Oh yeah, I listen to your podcast. I look forward to it." And I thought that was so cool because so Alan had a big time, played a little bit of golf. We're in the golf
You
season,
were
playing,
supposed to be there.
and I was supposed to be
We
there.
needed the big stick.
We needed the big mouth is what we needed.
Hmm.
But no, I had played two charity events and two scrambles in a row. I always joke that if there are 88 players and that makes 24 teams, I can't do the math. We're usually a solid like middle of the Pac-12.
Hmm.
And in this case, we ended up in fifth and fourth. Not because of this guy, because I play with some really cool guys, and I also play with a really old guy, Alan,
Older than me?
older than you. And I said, hey, Alan, this guy get to play from the red tees. He goes, you mean I could have played from the red tees? I'm like, yeah. I said, and I really wanted you there, but I
I
had gotten
started
invited that one.
salivating when I heard that.
So loving golf, but Alan invited me to one. I was supposed to be there, and I am still super jelly because it's up in the mountains of
Mm.
Georgia. It's at Old Toccoa.
Old Toccoa Farm. Great course.
Great course up in Blue Ridge. Got to play with our good friends, the DeCoufles, who've been on the podcast.
The whole thing was podcast people. We had Tim from Next Gen Lighting and then Ted.
Temple of Ted
Temple at
from
Ted.
4 years ago. Temple
Yeah.
of Ted talking about marketing. What are we talking about today? I may
Come
market.
full circle.
We have come full circle. Today we've got Jeremy LaDuke on, and we're going to talk all kinds of marketing. We're going to talk about personality types. We're going to talk about how Jeremy should never, ever pick up the game of golf because while it sounds like a lot of fun, it's super frustrating when you get old and you really start to suck like I am. Jeremy,
It
welcome
it
to the show.
sound it sounds like a lot of time and a lot of money. Two things that I don't have at this point in my life.
Time, money, and oh, by the way, your blood pressure goes skyrocketing, and that's
Yeah.
why I still take blood pressure medication.
You're blaming you're blaming golf for that?
Here's to that with our small business safari bourbon cups.
God.
Jeremy, welcome to the show, man. Happy to have you on. Why don't you
Thanks
tell
for
me a little
having
bit
me.
about what you do and what makes you so cool doing it?
So I founded Epic Nine Marketing almost 12 years ago, and we do everything from branding strategy to web design, video production, advertising, all the things, right? So we really like to work with brands that are ambitious and they want to grow, and they have some kind of well-defined goals that they're reaching for, and so what we do and kind of the secret sauce that we like to bring to the game is ideas that push them a little bit on their creativity, on their branding, and help them think outside the box so that they can capture attention, right? Marketing is it's we're dealing in the economy of attention, and if your advertising and your campaigns are not memorable, then they're wasting money. So that's what we like to do. We like to make those dollars go as far as they can and grow businesses.
You mentioned attention. We are in the attention business. I love that
Mhm.
phrase because
Yeah.
right now, what
I,
did he
I
say?
wish it was
You're
mine.
right.
I,
Could
I
use some.
I
I
got it from somebody else. It's not
oh
mine,
yeah.
but I love
I
it. Yeah.
I actually already forgot what he said. What did he say? I mean, because I had no attention. I mean, they say goldfish 7 seconds. This kid's like three and a half flat, baby. I can go from 0 to 60 in three and a half. What'd you say? Where we at? But you're right. I mean, we're trying to grab attention in a very busy world. I just had a guy
Mhm.
say, "Hey, my time is my run time. When I go run, I don't even take music. I
Mhm.
just go run." I was like, "For how long?" He goes, 6 miles. I said, "So is that like 80 minutes?" He goes, "So a little faster than that." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "So what do you do?" He goes, "I'm just a man with my thoughts." I'm like, "Ooh, that's dangerous."
You
But
go into some strange places if you don't have any music to keep your mind occupied while you run. Like you go down some dark trails sometimes.
I know dark. And yes, I
Yeah.
know those trails. You talked about it, the attention management, and you talk about being memorable. What do you think the most memorable marketing thing ever was that you come in and tell people, hey, here's my example?
So I need to find a better example, simply because this one is just a little too extreme, and I think most people when they hear it, they think, oh, we can never do anything like that. But it's the Liquid Death brand. I don't know if y'all are familiar
Oh
with
yeah.
Liquid Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they came into a saturated market, no pun intended, right? So bottled water. You go to the cooler at the gas station, you open up the door, and you're just going to see this wall of blue with some, springs and mountains and maybe some woodland creatures on the bottles. And it all looks the same, right? You really can't tell one from another, and they're really not that different. There's some people that say they can taste the difference in water, but they're just really not different.
I think they're completely lying.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
um,
It's
so
bottled water is 100% vanity, I think.
Actually I started my own bottling water. It's the Trusted Toolbox water source, and I just use my hose out back, fill up these bottles, and then put them all back on.
As do they.
well, and I'm pretty sure like if you look at it, it's like
Minerals.
bottled in Los Angeles. It's like
Right.
what kind of water is this? So
So Liquid Death.
yeah. So Liquid Death came on the scene, and they just decided, listen, what can we do just to disrupt this and to be distinct, stand out? And so one, they put it in a can, right? That gets you points on water quality, in my opinion. Like I can tell when water comes from a can versus a bottle. That's like I can taste that difference. So they're in a can, and they have a purpose behind that, but not really too many people I don't think really care about the purpose for it being recyclable. But they came out in a can. They put a skull on it. It looks more like a beer can than a water can, and they just themed their whole brand around death. They had a mascot for a while that was this like headless guy with a chainsaw or an axe or something, and so
That is super
they're
dark.
yeah, their advertising is just so off the wall extreme as well. They took all of their hate comments at one point. This is a few years ago. They took all of their comments that they've gotten on social media that were negative, and they turned them into like an '80s rock album. Um, and they left all the cuss words in and everything. So it's fantastic.
Oh, I love that. True
Yeah.
story. I went to our local grocery store, buy one get one free, Liquid Death. I'm like, I'm going to do it. Why not? So I got the BOGO secret sauce, secret story. If you buy one, you still get it half off. Hello, I did it. I brought it home, put it in the refrigerator. My daughter comes back to visit, and she goes grabbing for it, and I watch her, and she goes, "What's this?" Because she already drank it. She was thinking it was like a high noon, like an alcoholic drink. I said,
Yeah,
water.
yeah.
She goes, it said Liquid Death. I'm like, you better read it a little closer there,
Oh,
sister.
so you wanted liquid death?
She
I
did.
mean, yeah.
She was going for it, thinking she was sneaking in. She goes, I got the vodka, baby.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So well, and it was a very risky thing to do, right? Like nobody else was doing it, and if it had failed, like several people would have gotten fired, I'm sure. Like if this was if a corporate decision and around a boardroom, and someone said, "Hey, I got this idea," if it had failed, they would have gotten fired. They wouldn't have gotten fired if the clear bottle with a blue label had failed, right?
Right.
Right. Staying in
Because
the
it's
norm.
safe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
safe.
it's safe.
What was your role in all this?
Oh, and I had no role. It's just my example of a great brand
got it.
I guess I wish I had a role.
Make one
but
up
it's just
next time. Yeah,
Well,
I throw you a little puffball like that, Jeremy. Hit it out of the park.
Yeah, well, tell us how you did something funny like that then. Come on, tough guy. What did you
right.
do? Give us an example of
So
something.
so we get well, I want to go back to this example really quick. So the thing that I think kind of proves the usefulness of all this is that they went from startup to nearly $1 billion in valuation. I think in like 5 to 6 years, and so just in water, right? Like we've got so many choices of water, but they knocked it out of the park.
Get the hose, Alan.
I'm thinking rebranding your business, Toolbox of Death.
That, you know what? Maybe they'll get people.
There you go.
Actually, one thing I am going to take away, everybody, is we always shy away from bad reviews. We all hate them, right? You don't like bad reviews, especially in the home services business or anything where you're out there in public. We hate them. But what if you embraced them once and did that and made an '80s rock song out of it, or took all your bad reviews and just plastered them up there? Because when you look at all the bad reviews, you can start to figure out, there might be some crazy people out there reviewing you that maybe you weren't so bad, but maybe they were nuts.
Wasn't
So
it Kimmel that would have people read bad reviews?
mean tweets
Mean
was
tweets.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mean
The mean
tweets.
tweets were
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like that idea. Again, something to think about. I'm not saying I'm not espousing marketing. Jeremy is here. He's not marketing. That was not his idea. So if it doesn't work, it's not on him nor I. And this financial advice is only based on past precedent, not future. No, I'm just kidding.
So toolbox of death, or we could go the other way and go like, sinister. Let's see, sinister toolbox or mischievous toolbox.
What if I did like an Animal House? I branded all my trucks. I just made a big skull out of, and I just keep rolling around. They always keep do 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 do. Here they come. Oh, I'm gonna let this guy in my house. And our new uniform is going to be a sleeve of tattoo shirt and black and skull bones
I'm thinking a Jason mask.
and a Jason mask. We'll show up at your door like that. Perfect.
You
Yeah,
just
everyone's
got you just got to own it. You just got to own it because you're
I don't think I can own
you're
that
gonna
one.
have you're gonna have a market that's the only reason, that's the sole reason they do it, is because they want the Jason mask at the door.
Well, you clearly are.
Yeah.
That's a great example, and I know you use that example with people to kind of get people thinking out of the box.
Yeah.
I know you've also branded yourself as going up the mountains, which we talk about here at the Small Business Safari a lot. So when you start to engage with somebody, tell us a little bit about how you work with somebody, and because you work with those small companies looking to be a billion in 5 years, like we all are. I'm just 17 years behind after 17 years.
I think just 100 million would be fine, don't you?
I'm not greedy.
Okay, you're a little greedy.
I'll do a fractional share jet. I don't need a full jet. Is that good? All right. Anyway, Jeremy, how do you work with people?
You're maturing.
Thank you.
So what we do, the first thing we do whenever someone comes in with us, is we figure out goals, right? We figure out where are you trying to get to? Because at the end of the day, if we don't have something clearly defined, then we're not going to know if what we did was successful or not. And so we try to get those SMART goals. I'm sure you're familiar with that, specific, measurable, yada yada yada. So we get the goals nailed down, and then we start to brainstorm and think, how can we get them to that goal? What level of investment are they willing to be in on it? And then how risky are they willing to be? And so we try to push them and figure out how can we take all the things that they have, all the assets they have, whether it's their current brand, the financial investment they can put into it, the people that they have, the connections in the community they have. How can we leverage all these things to help them get to that goal?
So you work a lot with local businesses. I know you're very proud of being local and where you are in Tennessee and doing that. How do you? I'm gonna flip this around. How do you market your business to these small businesses?
Yeah. So we've done a couple of things over the years. One is we've really established a very clear identity for who we are. And we've got that mountaineering or outfitting, mountain climbing theme, right? So we help small businesses conquer their marketing mountains. And so we build that around pretty much everything that we do. And people know us. People know our logo. People know our brand. We're out there. The one of the unique situations I think that marketing agencies are in is that we're like guitar players, right? Everybody knows a guitar player. Some of them are not great, some of them are amazing. But there's guitar players are a dime a dozen. So are marketing agencies, and so most of the time when someone is looking for some sort of marketing, they're probably going to look, go to someone they know, go to a referral. And so a lot of our marketing is getting out, shaking hands. We go to Chamber of Commerce's and the networking events that they have around our area every opportunity we get. I was actually just going through some of the business cards that I've collected over the years, and I have probably close to like 2,000 business cards that I've just got compiled. And I was just going through. Decided to do this the other day and just kind of go through and say, all right, how many of these people that weren't really good fits for our business a while back, how many of those might be good prospects now? And so just kind of going through and sifting through them. But a lot of it's those personal relationships. But I think that's something that is probably a little more unique to the marketing agencies and a lot of other kind of B2B service-based businesses. And it's not every industry kind of has its own recipe, I think.
You hit on a thing that's near and dear to Alan and I's heart. But if you think about it, you just said it. Everybody knows a guitar player, and in fact, my image right now is, hey, I'm not going to hire the best rock band in the world. I'm just going to hire a band because I can't afford you guys. I'm going to go with the cheaper alternative and watch these kids just come, just beating the crap out of it. That'd be hilarious. But you mentioned that you do networking and marketing. It's a personal
Yeah.
relationship, right? I mean, in your world, you've got to make
Yeah.
that connection, being personal, where somebody says, "Hey, Jeremy, just because I saw you on LinkedIn doesn't mean I'm going to sign up and spend $5,000 a month with you or 20 grand a month with you." It's that personal relationship. You got to make that. I think in anything right now, especially with what's going on with AI and everything in any business, I think you've got to figure out your personal connection that you got to be able to make at some level with somebody. How do you do that even in the digital world?
Yeah. So I
Looking at
think
you,
for
marketing guy.
yeah, yeah.
I think
So
it was kind of a mushy
yeah.
question.
No, I want to know. I was looking like, how do I make that personal connection? I was looking for some free marketing advice.
How do you make a personal connection when you're networking, or what are you talking
No,
about?
when you're out there in the digital world, like we're going to come back to marketing and networking in a minute, but how do you make that personal connection, those 2,000 business cards digitally? Because you can't do
Mm,
it on LinkedIn, right? You just don't send me an
yeah.
email and I'd say, oh, yeah, I'm going to sign up. How do we make that personal connection with people now? Because a lot of it is digital.
Oh, he's saying he's going out and making them personal.
Yeah.
I know.
He meets with
I
them.
want, I
You
want some
you go
examples.
you get out of your basement and you go meet them.
Well, I'm good with that, but I can only do that's one at a time. I want 5 billion. I'm looking for that 5 billion story, man.
Can I ask a
Yeah.
different question?
All right, fine.
No. I think it's a legitimate question. I want to
It's
answer it.
legitimate. That does not
Yeah.
count
Yeah.
as a good question. Legit. That means it's on life support. I may have given it CPR. So go ahead, Jeremy. See, do
No.
what you
So
will with that.
I think digitally you can think of it in terms of your personal brand and your business brand, right? And so your personal brand it revolves around a lot of personality. And can you create the posts that you need to create? Can you create the content that you need to create to really grab people's attention and make that connection? And so for me, that is not my strong suit. Like my personal brand. We were talking about this earlier. Getting a personal brand going on LinkedIn. It's one of those kind of do as I say, not as I do. As an introvert, it's just I overthink every post I make on my personal account. For a brand,
And introverts don't like to toot their own horn either.
Right. You don't
yeah,
like to get out there and be the center of attention and tell everybody,
Look how
look at
great
me,
I
look at
am.
me, look at me,
Yeah.
which is why I
right.
don't think about any of my posts. I just say, look at me.
Hey, quit looking at
Go
that.
out there and look,
Look at
man.
me.
Chris Lollamy on Instagram. Go check it out, boys. Girls, go check it out. Yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
don't think of one thing about what I'm posting. Facebook, check it out.
Exactly. So, yeah, but for your business, building those connections, it's about getting out there, posting as much as you can to get in front of folks and just be familiar, right? So one of the things that we like to leverage and talk about whenever we're working with clients is just really how the human brain works and how people buy, the psychological reasons people buy. Most of the time, they're completely irrational. But one of the things that affects who we buy from is how familiar we are with them. So if people see you a lot on social media, your brand or you personally, they're going to be familiar with you, and consequently, they're going to trust you more. They don't have a reason for trusting you more. They just trust you more because they've seen you more, unless you've given them some reason not to, right?
The trusted toolbox. Thank you, Alan. And Alan's going to
Or
start
the
the
more trusted
Alan.
toolbox.
That's the business Alan's going to start. Is the more trusted toolbox. And that's a
Of
inside
death.
joke of death.
Of death. More trusted
Huh?
toolbox of death.
That's awesome.
Awesome, Jeremy.
All right, Jeremy. So that's what I would say. It's hard to make that personal, and that's what you're talking about is you got to find those channels. One of the things I'd heard from somebody is pick one and do it really well. And I heard that
Mhm.
years ago. I think I'm going to fight back on that one now. I wonder if now you have to do different channels and be out there and see which one's going to work. What do you think?
Before he answers that,
Oh, please.
let's
Stop me.
ask. No, no, no. I think you're onto something.
Okay.
It's a legitimate question, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I got another life support
No,
question.
but what I want to ask is, okay, so if you're working with a major corporation,
Yeah.
they have their ad budget, and your job is to just get the account away from somebody else. But when you're working with an entrepreneur, and maybe they've been trying to do it on their own, and one of the first things you said, you want their goals, but you also have to find out what their budget is. They don't know what their budget is, or they're scared to give you the right number, or the
Yeah.
number they give you is probably, I don't know, they could go two ways. One is maybe they throw out a bigger number because they don't want to be embarrassed, or they throw out a tiny number because they don't want you to waste it. How do you
Yeah.
get somebody to the right number? Because if you don't put enough into it, it's useless, right?
Mhm. And I think that's just an honest conversation we have with them in when we look at the goals. If they say, here's our goal way up here, and here's our budget, then we've got to close that gap somehow. We either got to say, all right, well, you've got to be making a whole lot of cold calls, in your spare time to get there, or you either lower the goals or you raise the like. There's got to be some honest conversation of what can if this is your real budget, what can you really do with that? What can you expect? And so a lot of our job is managing those expectations of if we're going to put this much energy and effort into something, what can you reasonably expect to get out of that?
All right. I got to go back to my original question.
Well, and that's why I wanted to
because-
start with that, because you're talking about focusing on one channel versus a broad stroke.
Right.
That's going to have a lot to do with the budget.
Or is it? I mean, that's the question. I mean,
Yeah. I think when social media platforms are first coming out, that statement and that philosophy was a lot more true than it is today. I think you have different audiences on them, and so your audience on LinkedIn might be different than who they are on Facebook. But with the types of content and the things that you post, there's nothing magical about LinkedIn that says you only can post this type of content and only this type of content will work on LinkedIn or even on Facebook. There's nothing magical about that platform that only says this is what works. If you're engaging and interesting on either of them, it's going to work, right? But you've just got to find out what does your audience like, and that's not the same. That's not something you can formalize for every business or even every business in an industry.
yeah, no, but to Alan's, now I'll come back to Alan's point. I think
Yeah.
the question, Jeremy, if I was you and you came and talked to me, you're like, Chris, if I'm your buddy at the bar after playing around a golf, what do you tell me your advertising budget is? Because I've done this. And I will tell you, similar to my golf game, I will tell you it's overinflated. But if I came back and you came to me and said, hey, I want to take your money, how much am I going to give you? I'm going to go back and say, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw me play golf, but I'm really bad at it, horrible. So I'm only going to give you $1,000, even though I said my budget was going to be 30,000 a month. I think that's an interesting conversation. Hey, what are you telling your buddies at the bar after golf, and what do you want to tell me? You want to tell me zero, and you want to tell them, man, I could stroke 100 grand every day. Let's go. I think that's,
Yeah.
you talk about honest conversations, but it doesn't start with honesty, especially when you're talking to me. I mean, no, seriously. I mean, I talk to a lot of business owners. I think we have one public persona and one I'm the imposter persona, and it's hard for us to get there. So how do you get them through that? How do you start to figure out that these guys will have that honest dialogue with you?
I think the honesty really comes down to what are they willing to put on a check, right? That's you don't really get much more honest than that. Like what can you cut a check for? And so,
Well, and my guess is the answer
yeah.
is, hey, if it works, I'll put as much money as I have in it, but they're afraid
Yeah.
it's not going to work.
Yes, yeah.
So
I mean,
it's like, how much are you willing to gamble, Chris? Like when you go to Vegas, what's your number?
All right, again, there's two answers.
Okay.
There's the answer I tell my wife, and there's the answer I tell my buddies, and it's somewhere in the middle. 10 grand, big boy. Big daddy's coming in strong. Honey, how much? 1,000. Or I'm at 1,000. I'm at 1,000. I mean, I'm not going to spend any more than 1,000. I mean, that's it. When I go there, I'm only going to lose $1,000. Okay. And so, by the way, it's somewhere in the middle between 1 and 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for that, you can email Chris at the Trusted Toolbox to find out what the real number is, and I'll let you know. But not unless you email me. And if you email me and say, Chris, what is that number? I'll tell you what it is. But I
So
ain't
I
telling
think
you on
part
the
of it,
podcast. That's free.
part of it is just getting people to think in a way that they may have not have thought of it before. Because a lot of people that we see come in, they're spending money. They don't really even have a good idea of what all they're spending their marketing dollars on or how to measure it. And so having them sit down and think, all right, if I spend this much, this is what I can expect out of it. It's in a measurable way. It's maybe a new way of thinking. And so sometimes it takes people a little bit to kind of start wrapping their mind around, all right, if this is where I want to be, then maybe I do need to invest more in it to get there. But then going back to the relationship side, it's a lot of building a trust and saying we know what we're doing, right? We've done it for all these clients over here. We know what we're doing. You can trust us. Is it guaranteed? No, by no means is anything that we do guaranteed, right? But sometimes we try to relate it back to their business. Like if you were a mechanic and I said, all right, I'll come and get this stuff fixed. Can you guarantee me that my car won't break down in the next year? No, nobody's going to give that guarantee, right? Because there's just so many things that are variables at play.
Interesting. You actually hit on something that I think is probably disrupting your industry, and that's attribution. How can you get the ROI when you don't know
Yeah.
where it came from? Because when I first started in 2008, I was told you have to be in the phone book. And I was like, this,
Mhm.
in fact, that's probably one of the top 5 smartest things I've ever done. And that was I didn't do the phone book. But I did do print advertising because everybody says, no, you got to be in the Val packs, you got to
Yeah.
be in the money
Oh
mailers.
my
And
God.
this is all before Google was a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happening. So here comes AI. It's another disruptor, right? So attribution's got to be so hard for you to prove to somebody about what to do. So how do you take them through that? Because hey, you can put up 500 billboards, or in a smaller town, you can put up 10 billboards. Okay, great. It's still a chunk of change, bro, and
Yeah.
that's not making the phone ring. So how do you take them through that transactional versus relational advertising?
Yeah, so there's different ways we measure what we're doing, and to your point, attribution is becoming less and less reliable um, for multiple reasons. One, partly is because the veil's kind of getting pulled back on all of this, like this data that we've been sold as really, this way to track people and do all these things and measure everything. A lot of that was kind of we got scammed a little bit on that. And so
Can you name a
we're
name?
realizing
Who scammed us? Go ahead, name a name. I'll do
what's
it.
that?
Google, Google. It was you.
Yeah, yeah.
Google.
So I
Go
don't
ahead.
know about this.
Well,
Jeremy
well,
did not say that, by the way.
What happened?
well, one of the things that we're dealing with right now, ever since it started happening, was like Google's Performance Max campaigns, right? So they'll grab conversions from any place that they can grab a conversion, but they didn't give that conversion, but they'll say they did because they want your money and they want to say, hey, this is very valuable and we're converting a lot of people. Like they maybe saw that they maybe saw a display ad that was just like the very bottom of their telephone screen and then went and bought it when they were going to buy it anyways. So anyways, that sort of stuff is kind of what we're combating and trying to work around these days. But there's other ways to measure, right? At the end of the day, what we want to see is the bottom line is like, all right, are you making more money than you were before you started working with us? And that requires some transparency on our client side of we need to see sales numbers. We need to see if are we going in the right direction. On the days that we did XYZ, did that help or did that hurt? And so the more transparency we can have in that conversation, the better, because it helps inform what we're doing. And so other ways of measuring just your brand awareness. So any sort of brand awareness marketing you're doing, from billboards to broad streaming ads, that sort of stuff. It really is hard to measure. All right, is this doing what it needs to do? And so one of the ways we measure that is just seeing how many times are people searching for you by name, right? Let's start before you started doing all these things, and get a baseline of how often people search for your business by name. And then, a few months after, how often are people going to Google and searching for, XYZ HVAC company or XYZ plumbing company by name? And we've always talked about the funnel, like the sales funnel from, this from the side angle, really, where you can see the wider top at the top and the narrow at the bottom. What I like to show people is kind of from the top down. You've got three concentric circles, right? So you got the big outer circle is your brand awareness. You got a middle circle, which is that mid funnel decision making consideration phase, and you got that small circle right in the middle that is your lower funnel. And everybody's fighting over that small center circle, right? Like you go HVAC companies, plumbers, they're paying $20, $30 a click, fighting over that little circle right there. And what a lot of them are leaving, for anybody to grab, is that big circle. If you can grab people out here, if you can be that company that they know by name, that they're whistling the jingle to, and that they're talking about, if you can be that company out here, you've already won them by the time they're here. Because you know what? They're not going and searching for, HVAC Knoxville. They're going to searching for you by name. Or even if they're not searching for you by name, when they see your name pop up, they say, "Oh, hey, I recognize that guy. Let me click on that." And so,
It's hard to get new clients to go for an awareness budget though, because they want call to action. I want an ad that makes the phone ring, right, Chris?
100%. But I think what
yeah,
Jeremy's talking about is if you're just beginning, I need that phone to ring. I need that form to be filled out. I need that website form. I mean, you've got to get to me because I need money now because revenue is
yeah,
king. Well, cash is king,
yeah,
revenue is queen. I've said that a lot. But Jeremy's talking about something we just talked about a couple of weeks ago, where I'm seeing a change, and I'm going to ask you this question: is that name recognition, brand recognition, is more important today than it used to be because of familiarity and awareness and the ability to get out there and be omnipresent. What
yeah.
do you think about that? Because that's a lot of money to go out there and spend on that and not get that immediate return.
Um, Yes. So I would say you need to have some investment at every level of the funnel, right? That's ideal, right? If your budget is such that you can put some lower, some mid, some brand, that's the ideal place to be. When you're first starting out, though, you like you said, you're fighting over that center circle because you don't have the reputation, you don't have the budget to really fight in this bigger arena out here. And so that we walk a lot of our smaller clients through what we call Climb Club. And it is really built for businesses that are in that $2 million a year and less range, where you've got to put in some hustle, right? You've got to put in some blood, sweat, and tears in your marketing yourself, because at that level, you really don't have a budget that makes sense to go pay a marketing agency to do the things for you. So you've got to be out there shaking hands. You've got to be out there knocking on doors, getting your name out there. But what we try to emphasize is all of that is a lot easier if you have a very strong, distinctive brand, right? If you're going out there as, "Hi, I'm Jeremy LaDuke's insurance company," it's the most forgettable thing in the world, and it's gonna be an uphill battle for you every step of the way. But if you go out there with a distinct name, something that a theme, a mascot, if you can have a mascot, get a damn mascot. Like, the saying is, fur sells, and it does. And so,
You don't
um,
have a mascot.
I don't have a
What
mascot.
would your mascot be?
I don't know, but I was
Well,
thinking, I just got a great insurance tagline because I got a great friend who's in insurance. We've had him on, Rusty Clifton, and I'm like, "Hey, insurance, you're going to die anyway." Huh?
we may have to
Oh,
workshop that a little
workshop.
bit. Yeah.
So,
yeah,
what
yeah,
is my mascot? Oh my God, I need a mascot. I had Turbo because I stole my friend's dog. Actually, I babysat for a dog sat for a weekend because But you're right. You know what?
Yeah.
They do sell. The
They're
animals sell.
memorable. They're memorable. Yeah.
Stupid lizard.
I'm
Right.
gonna go.
Yep.
I'm gonna go armadillo,
I think that'd
Cock-
be great. I think
Cockroach.
it
cockroach,
fits.
armadillo, armadillos, because we
It
hammer at
doesn't it
home,
doesn't
so the armadillos get
actually
in the house.
it doesn't actually have to have fur. It just needs to have eyes and a smile, I think. So the
Eek,
armadillo could
armadillo
work.
smell. Eek.
I mean,
Yeah,
cartoon ones do.
Squirrel.
Mascot ones
Squirrel
do.
would be more appropriate for you.
actually, I love squirrels because they beat up houses, they eat up houses, and we go fix them after they're done.
Mm.
And you get the same attention span.
And what?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You know,
Your
that's a great
tagline
point.
could be like, "You're gonna go nuts for us."
Oh, I got
Yeah.
freebie. Jeremy LaDuke's insurance. No, it's not. It's Jeremy LaDuke's Climb Club. Climb Club, kids. That one, I love that phrase too, because you're right. In the beginning, if you would have came to me or Alan when we first started a business and said, "Hey, I need you guys to invest in the upper end of the funnel," we would have said, "Hey, Jeremy, you need to invest and get into that door, and we'll see you tomorrow."
Yeah.
Yeah, goodbye. Because I need that phone to ring. You're like, dude, I can't make the phone ring back in the day because we didn't have the internet. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't there. And we had to have that phone to ring because if you ain't coming in, man, I can't spend money on sponsoring kids events or sponsoring golf events like I do or doing the net. But you talked about it in the beginning. You got to hustle. We talked about networking. That's how we made that smaller ring work.
Yeah.
And I,
What a
you know,
cool
Yeah.
piece of advice. I like that.
yeah.
Instead of, I mean, that tells me, Jeremy's not just coming for my money. He understands where I am and what I need to do.
And you guys both, let's talk about this. So you're both introverts, and I know I met Alan in networking, and I never knew he was introverted. And he
I'm
goes,
a gregarious introvert.
so and
I'm,
Jeremy,
yeah. I force myself to be an extrovert when I need to.
so you're a forced networker, you're a forced
Exhausting.
introvert.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it wears you guys out. He says, I'm exhausted at the end of those. I said, dude, I can barely go to sleep that night after a networking event because I'm so pumped up. Because for me, I get energy from it. I know for you guys, you have to
Yeah.
give. But you just talked about it. This might not be your comfort zone, but if you don't want to spend the big bucks, this is the small things to get to that smaller circle. And we're all doing this on the YouTube. You can see it: small circle, medium circle, big circle. So you want to save some money, go out there and do the networking. And if you can't, find a sales guy who can, but nobody sells
Yeah,
your
it's
business.
like it's free, right? It just takes your time. You just go spend 30 minutes or an hour shaking hands. The best advice that I can give to someone if you feel very awkward and you really hate those things, the good news is most of the other people at those things do too. And so if all you have to do is go just work up the courage to shake somebody's hand and start asking them questions. The minute you start asking them questions about themselves and about their business, you've got some rapport with them and you've won a friend. And so and also it kind of takes the attention off of you and lets you make a connection.
That is a great point because as an introvert, and Alan said gregarious introvert, here's why I liked him so much. He kept asking questions about me, and I love to answer questions about me, and that's why we hit it off. But no, seriously,
Enough about me. Let's talk about me.
thank you. Alan, please, I'm talking. But I think that's a great way to look at this. When you go to these networking events, guys, if you just start asking questions to people and talk, I'll go back to,
Yeah, you're not selling. You're not selling at
no,
this. Yeah.
I was at a Johns Creek chamber event years ago, and Alan was there too. And this guy came up to me, and all he did was talk about himself. I mean, I didn't get a word out, and I love talking about me.
Yeah.
And I just listened to him, and I was like, dude, this guy doesn't even know who I was. I gave him my card. He turned out to be one of my biggest supporters, telling everybody how great my company was. He didn't know one thing. All I did was listen to him. He didn't even know what I did. I mean, I thought he didn't, but he did. And next thing you know, they're like, oh no, he said call. No, no, Bob said call. And I was like, where'd this guy come from? I'm like, I didn't even.
I wasn't thinking you were going there with that story. I thought we were going leg humpers.
No, this guy
Most of
again.
those guys are leg humpers.
Oh yeah, but I thought all I did was sit there and just listen and listen and listen, and he told everybody how great of a guy I was. But to networking on the other side, if you're an introvert, and that's what I've seen is the people who overcompensate are the leg humpers. So I don't know how to network. Therefore, I don't know how to really talk to people. So when I get there, I come up and I just grab you and I go, "Hey, Jeremy, I have the best remodeling company and handyman company in the world, and I'd love to work on your house. And can I work in your house?" And you're like, "Dude, just get away from me
Can you
because
refer me to three of your friends? And yeah,
yeah, get away from my leg,
mhm.
you furry friend. And so I'm not our mascot, by the way, but I
Yeah.
am furry. I mean, not up here in the head. Just
You're-
I
I
compensate.
told you about the whole brand awareness advertising deal at Enterprise, didn't I?
No.
Yeah, it was the first time. So Enterprise, when I started, was the fourth largest rental car company in North America, and nobody knew about who they were. And so suddenly, and I was at middle management at that point. They had a big meeting, and we're going to start an ad campaign, which we were all excited about. And then we see the commercial, and it's the wrap car, and it's the "Hey, I'm at the shop. Can you pick us up?" Zero call to action, zero discount, zero anything. And we all looked at each other and we're like, "What is going on? You're spending what?" And that's when they explained to us the brand awareness, because when people were making decisions and they saw the list of names of companies to call and they saw our name, they didn't even see it. And so it was a matter of a couple of years to where the focus groups would show that when they were given that same list of names, they were predisposed to calling us as a result of those years of advertising. Whereas before they wouldn't even have considered it. They would have gone with Hertz or Avis or anybody that they knew of. So I mean, but that's
yeah.
working with corporate budgets. Not, and like Chris is saying, you start your own shop, you don't feel like you have the time to do it.
No.
But is there a way to kind of do that at the same time while you're having call to action stuff?
Well, I think it's one of those things where having a call to action on something on a billboard or whatever, it doesn't really do you any good. Nobody's driving down the road thinking, "Oh, hey, I need to call the plumber right now," right? They're thinking, "I need to call the plumber when their sink is pouring water out from under it." And so those utilizing call to actions when you should just be using for brand is kind of a waste, I believe, because you could do some really creative advertising at the end of that commercial rather than having 10 seconds of your phone number put up there. So there are some, I'm being very generalized with that, but I think there are some times when that makes sense. But if you're going to do brand awareness, do brand awareness. Do something that's memorable and that people will call to mind when they need you.
Yeah, all jokes aside, we talked about liquid death, and then we kept going on with that death theme. But that's thinking outside the box. I mean, and you can do
Yeah.
that without a marketing agency. And then when you get together and start talking with somebody like a Jeremy, you know, expand your mind a little bit, and then open up and have an honest dialogue with them, as opposed to not doing it. I think that's what we're missing, and that's what we need to do. And I know we're coming up on the end, Jeremy. So how does everybody find you so we can climb up that mountain? We're going to go to climb camp one.
Yeah.
Actually, Chris
Here come
isn't.
the dad jokes.
Yeah. It's base
You
camp.
got you got
We,
a
we, we
couple.
started we started at base camp.
Oh, base camp.
Yeah, yeah,
Base
yeah.
camp. Do we eat there at base camp?
Yeah. Chris just wants to get a helicopter to the top.
Yeah, that's. Can we just helicopter up Mount Everest and
Hey,
fly?
if you've got the budget, we can take you there. Yeah.
Now
We'll
we're talking. Who's got the
put you on the
helicopter
helicopter.
budget? Chris at thetrustedtoolbox.com. Give me some budget so I can take the helicopter up Mount Everest. Jeremy, how
Yeah.
can
So
everybody
if they give people two or actually three ways to kind of find out more. Epic Nine, our agency, if you're looking to do any sort of branding strategy, um, uh, campaigns, all of that sort of stuff, epic9.com. Love to work with you. If you are kind of in that bootstrap mode, or you're still kind of getting things off the ground, and you got more hustle than budget right now, then theclimbclub.com is a great place to start. And so we've built out a suite of packages of products and services built for folks in that position. Yeah, and then also the book wrote a book about being a local entrepreneur in a mid-size America town. What does it take to kind of DIY your marketing? And so it's a kind of a narrative business book where you follow the story of a small Main Street retailer that is learning how to do her own marketing, and at the same time you get a lot of practical nuts and bolts
I
marketing
need the
advice through
title.
it.
Give me the title.
Climb. So you can go to theclimb.guide, or you can find it on bookshop.org or Amazon.
Guys, I know a
But
couple of you guys are
yeah,
listening. This is right up your alley because I talked to a lot of home service providers, but what he's talking about is exactly what I've talked to at least six of you about, and this is a great one. So there's an easy read right there. I'm sure it's an easy read for all of us, right? It's not War and Peace, right?
you're right. Yeah, no, I think I hope it's easy. Yeah.
Okay, good. So you got
Yeah.
that. You got the bootstrappers. Let's go the climb. And then if you're ready to rock and roll and take your business from 1 million to 1 billion or 5 billion, like Liquid Death, you go to Jeremy LaDuke's epic9.com. I love this
Yeah.
stuff. Man, this has been a great conversation. Alan,
Yes. Yep.
It's been
Jeremy,
fun. You guys
now
are fun.
good. All right. It's going to be more fun. We're going to put you
Lots
to
of
the test.
legitimate questions.
Thank you for the life support. Did Chris revive the patient? Oh, I think we lost him, sir. All right. Now we're checking to see if you listened to our or read our email. What are the final four questions? What is a book you'd recommend that's not yours to our audience?
By if you're leading a team of any sort, Patrick Lencioni's Five Dysfunctions of a Team.
Nice.
One of just the best leadership books that is just great for any sort of team environment.
All right. What is the favorite feature of your home?
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I lost you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
Favorite feature of your home? It better be your Wi-Fi. You got me?
Yeah. Yeah. I can hear you. Yeah. I didn't hear the second question.
Favorite feature of your home?
Oh, favorite feature of the home. Um, uh, oh goodness, that's so tough. I would say it's the little outside patio area we got. Love sitting out there in the summer.
Because you're in Tennessee, got beautiful weather a lot of times. I
Hmm.
mean, that's why everybody's
Yeah.
moving there. All right. We have not talked about customer service, talking about how to get customers, but Adam, we're kind of crazy about our
Yeah.
customer. We're kind of customer service.
Freaks.
Oh my God, yes.
Mm.
What's a customer service pet peeve of yours when you're out there and you're the customer?
The over empathy. You know what I'm talking about
Yes.
oh we understand this is such a this we hate that you are going through this and this is a we know this is a disappointment to you and just kind of that just all right just lay off a little bit just
Insincere
I'll tell you what,
yes
AI is doing
yeah
that right now.
Mhm.
We're implementing an AI agent, and we're trying to tone it back down. I'm like, people do not want to hear that. They
yeah
do not want to hear
From a
over and
bot.
over and over. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Tell me more. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear. So here's your email, and they're giving you the wrong email address. So we're dialing our AI back a little bit. Isn't that funny?
yeah
Like,
yeah
is there anything else I can help you with? Yeah, the first fucking thing I called you about.
yeah
Right.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, last thing. So I'm in construction. I love doing it, but I tell you what, I've had a lot of DIY nightmares. I want to hear a DIY nightmare of yours because I've
of
done a lot
construction
of shit
Yeah,
oh,
not a
myself.
contractor, something you did.
And I'm saying, look at these fingers, people.
yeah
You look at them online. You guys don't see them
yeah
all, but there's been a lot
Oh,
of nails put
that
through
one in
these
the
things.
middle is nasty.
That is bad. That was a hand clamp. This one, well, actually, that one was football, but that's a different story. I just redid.
So I've only owned old homes. Like my first house was built in 1937. The house we're in now is 54. So there's plenty of things to do in the houses I've been in, and I've screwed them all up. I'm I'm horrible. I have to redo it, right? I'll watch the YouTube videos and then I'll go through and I'll try to follow them all and then something goes wrong. I would say my worst DIY. I can tell you my funniest. I'll tell you my funniest
I'm
DIY
in for funny.
experience. All right, so I was refinishing the floors in my first house and sanded them all down, got all that done, and was I didn't put any stain on it. I was just going to put the finish, the polyurethane finish on it. And so I was working late. It was like 1 in the morning, and I was with a brush painting these floors. And I started having the weirdest thoughts, man. My mind was going places that I had never been before,
Oh,
right?
I'm
And
loving
so
this.
yeah, and so I was like, oh, what? And I started just feeling so weird. And I'm like, why do I feel high? Like, what's going on? And I realized like I'd forgot to get I was in the hallway, and so there was really no circulation, and so I was high on polyurethane fumes, and it took me a while of fresh air and just laying down
Dig
to
it,
get over
brother.
that.
That is
Yeah,
amazing. I love that
yeah,
story.
yeah.
Oh my God. I've been high on fumes before too. Literally. I mean, I'm not even talking. I mean, you're like, whoo, we were closed in a room and I forgot that we had plastic off the room so the clients couldn't smell it. And we were like, wee, doggy. Hey, everything looks so green all of a sudden. Yeah, man. I love
Yeah.
this. Jeremy LaDuke, there you go. Epic Nine, the Climb Club, or go check out his book. This has been an epic conversation. We've had fun. We got to get going. Get up that mountaintop. Let's make it go happen.
Cheers,
We
everybody.
got to go.
Thanks, you guys.